Hey, everybody, what is going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. We got a good show. Got some things to talk about as far as Steeler Nation. It doesn't ever slow down, does it? It doesn't seem that it ever slows down as far as what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. We just finished our 1 year anniversary. It was on Friday. And I thought in the offseason, I thought, you know what, it'll be a little bit of a slower time. No, it is not a slower time, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a slower time at all. So things are not only are they haven't slowed down, they right around the draft, they're starting to pick up. So having a good time with it. Appreciate you guys that have helped support the channel, man. So we got some things to talk about. Shedeur Sanders comes for a visit today. We got to talk about that. Absolutely. We see you guys showing up in the chat. Torsha Jackson, what's going on? What is happening? Label Lyric, what's going on? So Shedeur Sanders, he's in town for a visit with the Steelers today. We're going to talk about that. Omari and Hampton, there is starting to become a lot of steam about the Steelers taking a running back and Omari and Hampton being available at 21. Is it smart? We'll discuss that. And then I don't think there's any question we have to talk about TJ Watt's cryptid post that he put on Instagram yesterday. What does it mean? We'll discuss all of that and more. So, again, man, I appreciate everybody being in here. If you want to help support the channel, you know how to do that. Super chats are wide open to get your question, comment, or rant up on the screen. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into this. So, Shedeur Sanders is coming in town. Let's see. I What do you all think? There is so much talk and so much comment and it's there is no in between with Shedeur Sanders. Either people love him or they hate him. Now, we can get into the minutia on why people love him or hate him, but I'll leave that to you guys. You know, I don't even want to dig in and try to pry into why you do or you don't. I have my suspicions on certain people. I think a lot of things people are just jealous. People are uncomfortable. And when people are uncomfortable, they say things and they hate people and they say things about them that aren't even true. Like, for instance, why, like, what's wrong with him being confident? Like, what quarterback in the National Football League isn't confident? Like, Tom Brady, who a lot of people believe is the GOAT, he wasn't confident. You know, I mean, he wasn't confident out there. He talked more trash than anybody on the football field, and everybody knows that. That's not a secret. That's not something that's being disguised. Everybody knows that Tom Brady was the biggest trash talker that there ever was. He was, and it's celebrated. I just don't understand. Shedeur Sanders, he's a college kid. We were all in college at one point. We do immature things. Hell, there's 50-year-olds that do immature things, you know, but he doesn't get in trouble off the field. Like, he's not getting in trouble. I mean, people would tried to point to his grade point average. Oh, he doesn't go to school. The kid had like a 4.0 as a student. Now you can say, well, he took a bunch of easy classes in college. Okay. Those same people that are saying that don't have college degrees. So there's that. It's just like, why do you hate this guy? Is it because his confidence makes people uncomfortable? Well, that's not his problem. And I'm always trying to figure out, why do people just not like him? What's your beef with him? And is it really with him? Is it with his father? But then I thought, well, why don't you like Deion Sanders? Like, unless he beat your team and embarrassed your team, like Deion he didn't get in trouble off the field. He didn't have any of those type of problems. He was great. Now, did he talk trash? Yes, he did. But he also backed it up. But you know what Deion Sanders never did? He never badmouthed his teammates, and he never badmouthed competition. He didn't do those things. So then why all the vitriol? I just don't understand it. Shedeur Sanders is the same way. He's not bad mouthing competition. And he doesn't look, if anybody had a reason to throw their team under the bus, he could have thrown his offensive line under the bus for the last 2 years. And he didn't do that. The closest thing that he came to doing was somebody asked him a question and he said, "Have you seen all the hits that I'm taking?" Well, that's not throwing his offensive lineman under the bus. It's the truth. He was taking hell. He got his back broken, people. He got his back literally broken. So, I mean, he took the hits. Now, some of them self-induced, I'll admit, holding on to the ball way too long. But, man, the vitriol and what people just hate, I just don't get it. I don't get why people just don't like him. So, and to say you don't like him as a player, like Mark Malone says, I don't like him as a player. Well, what is it that you don't like? Like a quarterback that can make every throw. Okay, he can do that. A quarterback that is extremely smart, has a high football IQ, check. Accurate with the football, check. Now, is he his father as far as an athlete? No, he's not that. Does he have a cannon like Josh Allen? No. But neither did Peyton Manning. Neither did Joe Montana. Neither did Tom Brady. But again, I mentioned you can make every throw. So if you can make every throw, doesn't matter, and you can get it to where you need it to go with great anticipation, tell me what's there not to like. I'm just curious. Because now we're nitpicking. And then you don't have to like him. I'm not forcing anybody to like him. I'm just trying to understand the why. Because if you take Sanders off of his last name and you put Hanley on the back of it, that all those things that I just described, you don't like that in a quarterback? You don't like a guy that has great anticipation, can make every throw, high football IQ, can take punishment. You know he's tough. I don't know. I don't know. That's my whole thing. Is like, what are we doing? What when you say I don't like him as a player? Well, what don't you like? Somebody just tell me. Just tell me what you don't like, because I'm interested. I'm interested, and don't talk to me about his personality. I don't want to hear that because none of us know him, so I don't want to hear that. You haven't heard his teammates bash him. You haven't heard anything like that. So I don't know. First super chat of the morning. My man Jordan says, the white run media is conditioned to perpetuate and project their own insecurities on a black man because a confident black man is suppressed fear. I mean, there's some of that. I don't think it's all of that, but I think there's definitely some of that. Absolutely. Because he hasn't done anything. Like, he's done nothing wrong. There'd be one thing if you could pinpoint and say, hey, man, he's this and that. He hasn't done anything. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, do you want him to go rob a bank or something? Then you could say, hey, he's a bank robber. Do you want to go beat up a woman? Then you could say he's a woman beater. He hasn't done anything. He's acted like a 21 and a 22-year-old kid. Doesn't get in trouble. That's a millionaire. What I think a lot of people are jealous, which, okay. But I'm just curious. I don't know. And we don't have to like him. We don't have to like him as a player. We don't have to like. First of all, anybody that says you don't like him as a person, you're full of shit because you don't even know him. So how do you not like somebody you don't know? I mean, this is not the third grade. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? So I get that part, but Lord have mercy. So Handyman Cart says he didn't play anyone significant, of course. He looked good. And when he finally did, and yeah, he can say it was his offensive line suck, but he had terrible reads against BYU. That's 1000% not the truth, handyman cart or handy cart Mexican. You don't know football if that's what you're saying. Again, you're just making up assumptions because you don't understand what you're seeing, which is fine. Everybody doesn't know football that well. But to say he made bad reads against BYU, no, he was terrorized because his offensive line couldn't block. So, again, I get it. You don't have to like him, but I'm not, at least me, I'm not going to let people just make up stuff just because that's what they wanted. Not on this channel. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. So, you don't get to just make up stuff because that's the narrative that you want to put out there. I don't allow that. And people been in here long enough. Y'all know that. We don't have to like them. We don't have to. But you don't get to just say you don't like them. And that's it. But you don't get to make up stuff. You don't get to make up anything. So, but here's my question. Screw whether you like him or not. How about, is he a fit with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let's talk about that. Let's get off of whether we like him or we don't like him. Can he play with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I mean, my question or statement or my thoughts would be, yeah. Yeah. So that's my only thing, is I think he can. Why isn't he a fit? Again, I brought up what he brings to the table is he can make every NFL throw. He's accurate with the football, high football IQ, studies the game, learned from the best. I mean, we've seen the interviews with Tom Brady talking about him studying and telling him what he needs to do. You don't think he's paying attention to that? Of course he is. And here's the thing. Tom Brady's not going to get on some live that's going to be broadcast to millions and millions of people if he thought that Shedeur Sanders was going to be full of it. He wouldn't do that. So that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, he's got those things. I think he can play here. Now, we don't have to like him. I get it. I think we don't have to like him. So he didn't show much at Colorado. I don't know what you mean. 70% completion percentage in the Big 12, that's nothing, right? Okay. I mean, what did you want him to show at Colorado? I'm just curious. You saying that he didn't show anything, Mark Malone, at Colorado. What did you want him to show? Because, again, he made every throw. The thing that he doesn't do, he tries to, and again, this is a product of having a bad offensive line, but it's become a habit, and he's got to get rid of it. He doesn't get rid of the football. He doesn't just say, hey, play for another down. He takes too many sacks trying to make a big play. Basically trying to play hero ball. You can't play hero ball in the National Football League. He couldn't outrun guys in college. You think he's going to be able to outrun guys or get away from guys in the NFL? Absolutely not. That's his one. I shouldn't say his one fault. One of the big faults is that he tries to play hero ball. And when I say that, holding on to the football too long to try to make a play. When things break down, instead of just throwing it away, he holds the football too long. That's what he does. So, super chat here. We appreciate it from Bears Junkie 55 Hall of Fame. A lot of the same shit was said about Caleb last year, and through everything, he was nothing but a class act. Take rumors with a grain of salt. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Like, people got mad at Caleb Williams. They didn't like him. He painted his fingernails, which I don't understand that. I think that's like a young person thing. Dudes painting their nails, but whatever. Don't have anything to do with me. They didn't like his personality. They didn't like that when he was in college, they lost a big football game and he walked over to his mother and he cried in her arms. Okay. 21-year-olds do that from time to time. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? I've seen grown men in the National Football League cry on the sidelines as well. And the only reason they didn't cry in either their mother or their wife's arms is because NFL security doesn't allow them to get that close. So, like I said, that part doesn't bother me at all. But I get it. You're right. But it's every year. They gotta have a reason to bash somebody. We gotta have a reason to bash somebody. But does he fit in the offense? Well, I think the first thing is a lot of us would say we don't like the offense. So we don't necessarily we don't like the offense. So anybody's a risky pick at it, which I agree. I don't necessarily like it either, but I think he can fit. I think he can fit. So, and everybody's a risky pick at 21. We don't know who is going to hit. I mean, the Steelers aren't drafting guys to say, "Man, I bet this guy's going to be a bust. Let's take him." I don't think any NFL team is saying, "Hey, man, we're going to take this guy cuz we think he could be a bust." And there's no guarantees whether you pick 1 or 32 in the first round. It doesn't matter. There are no guarantees. So, to keep saying the repetitive, oh, it's risky. Well, everybody's risky. Every single person is risky. You know, they're not a pick out there that's not risky. And that's all I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. So the biggest beef with Shador, says our man Miss Big Pun, is not competing at the combine. A true dog loves to compete. First of all, that is about the furthest thing from the truth that I can think of. Do you know how many number one and top picks don't throw at the combine? None of those guys wanted to compete. For instance, I don't hear you saying anything about Ashton Genty. He didn't even run a 40 at all. Not a dog, right? I mean, Lamar Jackson never ran a 40. Didn't throw at the combine. Not a dog. Doesn't like to compete. Come on, man. Again, if you just don't like him, just say you don't like him. It's okay. Like, nobody, hey, appreciate you joining up, Jordan. Thank you for the membership, brother. We appreciate you. We absolutely appreciate you. But it is no big deal for you to say that you don't like Shedeur Sanders. Like, nobody's going to get mad at you. Nobody's going to call you name, at least not on this channel. Now, somewhere else, somebody might do that. And if you hang around in the internet bot craze chat rooms, maybe somebody will. But if you don't like them, just say you don't like them. But don't make up stuff. Come on, man. Half the people at the combine, for instance, Kenneth Grant didn't compete at the combine. Not a dog. They show up to do the interviews, but they're not required to go there and work out. Nobody is. So, and anybody that doesn't compete, so everybody that doesn't compete at the combine is off Big Pun's list. That's why they don't pay you, brother. I'm sorry. That's the craziest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. You don't compete at the combine, then you're off my list. What? Okay. Okay. Steeler Lee, super chat. We appreciate you, Steeler Lee, for helping support the channel. Isn't the mark of a great coach tailoring your scheme to fit the QB? Shedeur will fit it if they want him to. You're 1,000,000% right, Steeler Lee. I scream that all the time. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. Figure if this is your job is to fit the skill set of your player. That's your job. And if you can't do that, then we need to find a different coach. We need to have a better coach. So that's all I'm saying. Got to have a better coach. If you as an offense or defensive coordinator can't figure out a way, for instance, we can say whatever we want about the Cleveland Browns. They are an absolute joke of a franchise, and we all know that. But Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator, is a mastermind defensive coordinator. And he moves Myles Garrett all over the line because his thing is, I'm going to take advantage of all of his abilities and put him in the best position possible. Maybe it's on the left. Maybe it's on the right. Maybe it's over center. Maybe it's at D tackle. Wherever he needs to line up, that's what we're going to do because he can do a lot. That's what you do when you have that kind of player. You don't try to pigeonhole him into what you want to do because I'm the coach. You're going to do what I want to do in this scheme. I know your skill set is different, but it doesn't matter. You're going to do this. How many quarterbacks have we seen ruined because of that? How many players have we seen ruined? Hell, the Steelers, you could talk about Kevin Dotson. You know? It's just put people in their position and let them rock. So I agree, Steeler Lee, 100%. My man Jordan, who just signed up to be a member. All love, bro. Best Steelers channel on YouTube. I appreciate you saying that, man. I don't know if we're the best, but we're trying to get there. We are absolutely trying to get there. Just been around for a year. We are absolutely trying to get there. So that's the whole thing. That is the whole thing. Torsha says, if our running game is good, our QB will be good. I'll take it a step further than that, Torsha Jackson. If the offensive line is good, the running game will be good, and the quarterback will be good. I'll take it a step further. But you are right. You are right. So Mason with the super chat says, trade him and Minkah. Who is him? And this franchise will be put in a position to contend for the first time in years, I'd say. Who are we talking about? Because right now we were talking about Shedeur Sanders, so I'm not sure who we're talking about trading. Unless you're talking about TJ. And if you are, we'll get there here in a minute. We will get there here in a minute. So, Big Pun says, my roster wouldn't have locker room cancer malcontents year in and year out. Okay, that's good. But here's what I would say. Then you would never, ever, ever, ever be a general manager in the National Football League. Because in every single locker room, there is a minimum of 3 bad guys in the locker room. At a minimum, there are 3. 3. So you saying you would never have that guy. The difference is if you don't hear about it, that means there's enough big personalities in there that can keep that stuff under control. But yeah, don't tell me that there would be none, because that's not reality. You got to live in reality, brother. So, got to live in reality. Bears Junkie said the Bears will trade you pick 10 for a first round swap. I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. But if we trade you TJ, there's no such thing as a first round swap. We just get your first round pick. But we'll get there here in a minute. So, switching gears, it is becoming increased. They are talking about this more and more, that the Steelers are going to take a running back in the first round. They are quarterback, running back. It seems like D tackle is starting to fall off. Now, again, that can be a lot of draft day posturing. That absolutely can be that. A lot of draft day posturing. But at the same time, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. And first, I don't agree. Some of you are okay with it. I am not. I am, especially in this draft, I am 100% against drafting a running back in the first round. I'm against it. I don't like it. But Amarian Hampton, they keep talking the Steelers may take him, but I am absolutely against it. I am absolutely against it. So, there's no way, especially with the number of running back, you can get a 5 to 7 year starting running back in this league in round 5 of this draft this year. That's how deep the running back position is. And again, I always say this, like there's no Saquon Barkley's in this draft. I mean, there's no just guys that are, because I don't think Ashton Genty is near that. And I actually think Amarian Hampton is better. I do. I've said that from day one. I think he's better. And I might be wrong. Doesn't matter, but that's what I believe. Having said all that, I'm not taking one in the first round. I think it would be, especially with all the needs and as deep as this running back draft is, why are you taking a guy in the first round? Unless the guy's Walter Payton. And I don't think there's a Walter Payton in this draft. I mean, do you guys chat? Tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all think there's a Walter Payton, a Barry Sanders, an Adrian Peterson, Jim Brown? Is there anybody in this draft that is them that you would say, yep, I know that there's 25 backs that can play really good football, but I got to take this guy at 21 because I think he's the next Walter Payton? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say hell no. Doesn't mean they can't be good running backs. But I got other needs. There is just an abundance of running backs. Just an abundance of them. So, I mean, 21, Nah, Genty, nobody's saying Genty's going to be Walter Payton. Stop that. Digital Dust, don't you do it. Don't you do it. There ain't a person on earth that has said Ashton Genty is supposed to be Walter Payton. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. So, good, I'll give you. Walter Payton, stop it. Stop it. And I don't even think Walter Payton's the best running back ever. I think he's second, but I don't have him first. But either way, it doesn't matter. You know, you talk about Shedeur Sanders, they didn't play anybody. So, and when they did, he didn't look good. I don't buy that because I think that I shouldn't say the entire conference, but a lot of that conference in the Big 12 plays good football. So who did Ashton Genty play against? Like, he played one good game against Oregon early in the season, but I think we saw when Oregon got challenged by a team that could run the football, they got the football run on them. But a team that didn't get the ball run on them was Penn State. How did Genty look against that? Now, you won't give Ashton Genty the same excuse or you won't give Shedeur Sanders the same excuse as you did Genty, though, right? See what I'm talking about? People won't do that. Hell, I mean, I don't even want to get back to it. Bottom line is, running back at 21, I'm out. So, I am totally out. Think about this. Think about the New York Giants. The New York Giants drafted Saquon Barkley second in the draft. Okay? I wouldn't have done it, but okay, they did that. And then what did they proceed not to do after that? Build a competent offensive line. They never built one. In the meantime, the Eagles, they built that competent offensive line. They just didn't have a great running back. And they were still able to run the ball. All of a sudden, free agency, hey, let's go get this running back and see what he could do. He damn near broke the rushing record. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my God. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. It really isn't rocket science. I know we try to act like it is, but it's not. So, it's not. Draft Guy says he thinks that Amarian Hampton will be a top 5 RB in the league this year. I don't see that with none of the DTs. I don't know about top DT, but I don't think you have to be a top 5 defensive tackle to have an impact. Like, you don't have, I mean, that measure is so skewed sometimes. Depends on what you're looking for out of your D tackle and the type of scheme that you have. But I don't think you have to be a top 5 guy to have an impact on a defense. Because there's plenty of guys that are run stuffers, don't make a lot of stats, but they stuff the run. Nobody considers them necessarily top 5 guys. So, but I get what your point is. I do. Super chat here by our man Mason. I'd have kept Najee, tried to sign I'm sure you're talking about J.K. Dobbins, and trade Warren only because he has injury concerns and will fumble on occasion, and then get a guy in the draft. Well, hold on a second. I don't think there's a running back that's currently active in the National Football League right now that's got more injury concerns than J.K. Dobbins. I mean, how many times has J.K. Dobbins been hurt? I don't think there's a running back that's active in the league that has had more injuries than him. So I get what you're saying, but he doesn't have injury concern. Like Warren, his injury concerns are way, way less than Dobbins. And no, we didn't need to keep Najee. For instance, we can draft another Najee, pay him less, and to do exactly what Najee did. You can draft a guy to do that, pay him less money, spend that money other places. So I like what Najee brought to the table. That's great. But not explosive. I mean, you can find that anywhere, especially in this draft. In this draft, you can do that. So that would be my thing. That would be my thing. But Hampton at 21 makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. because we got other needs. At 21, it makes me nervous. And I don't even know if I should classify that right and say it makes me nervous. I just wouldn't do it. Now, again, I don't get to make the decisions, but I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Mm-mm-mm. 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 So it's weird. It's weird. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Yinzer Joe, what's going on, man? I feel like because the DT class is so deep, they can get our RB first. Nah, the running back class is deeper than that, man. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Defensive tackles, you can get defensive tackle and get one of the top guys, you get a top guy. Okay? Running back, for instance, the drop off between a good defensive tackle that can help you immediately and a guy that's a roster spot, or not a roster spot guy, but a guy that can play, there's a huge difference. Running back, I mean, yeah, there if you get a guy that's a generational guy, but that's not in this draft. Like I said, there's no Adrian Petersons running around in this draft. So since there's not, and there's an abundance of running backs, we've seen the Steelers have a guy. I mean, Jaylen Warren wasn't even drafted. He's been pretty damn productive in the National Football League. I'm not saying he's a top 5 back or anything like that, but Jaylen Warren has been pretty productive with the opportunities that he's been given, and he didn't even get drafted. How many times can you say that about a defensive tackle? That's all I'm getting at. I don't necessarily disagree with your premise, but how many different times have you seen a defensive tackle, an undrafted defensive tackle, make the same kind of impact that we see an undrafted running back? We've seen that a lot. Or a 7th round pick, 6th or 7th round pick. It doesn't happen very often with D tackles. Not very often at all. That's why you got to grab them when you can get them. That's why they're such high demand, because there's a difference. So there's a difference. Let's see here. Let's get to some more before we start talking about TJ. Not going to lie, Javonte Williams has scared me from UNC running backs. I thought he was up next. I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe that might have been a little bit of thinking he was the next guy when he actually wasn't going to be the next guy. I get what you're saying, though. Tyrone, I appreciate it, man. I am feeling better from the shots. Trust me. This E&J bottle is right here. Yeah, and y'all see where it is not going to be drunk another time. I'll donate it to somebody. I was shook. I couldn't go to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. I just couldn't stop sweating. My wife was like, "What is going on? You keep tossing." I go, "It's E&J, man. It's pouring out of my body. I can't stop sweating." So no, I'm not doing that again. My liver said, "I don't know what you were thinking, Big B, but drink this again. See what happens." So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So Yinzer Joe says, "Well, there sure as heck isn't an Allen or Jackson in this draft for QB either. So where do they actually start drafting at? I fear every position at 21. I wouldn't. Again, I'm not reaching for a quarterback. Now, a guy falls to you, that's something different. But not like they did in 2020 when they took baby hands. Like, there was no reason to reach for him. He would have been available in the 3rd round. Don't reach for a guy. Don't reach. Just that's why the Steelers can trade back if they need to. Not too far, but trade back. If Will Johnson falls, I would be tempted. No, I wouldn't be tempted, Digital Dust. Depending on what D tackles are available, if Will Johnson falls, yes, you take him. Absolutely, you take him. Again, you know me, though. I've been one of those people. I was screaming this offseason that the Steelers go address the cornerback position in free agency. Go spend big money on a big money cornerback. Cornerback. But never did that. Never did that. So we'll see. We will see. Mm-mm-mm. Leave race out of it. Who brought race into it? Or is that you just being triggered? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Let's see here. The brown liquor is dangerous. Yes, it is, Johnny. The brown liquor is dangerous. Hey, Arch Baby Doll, what is going on? Always supporting the channel as a member. We appreciate you getting in here. So let's get the TJ, people. Let's get the TJ. I shouldn't say we all. If you didn't see what happened, TJ posted a cryptic tweet or post on Instagram and just basically doing this. So, does it mean hi? Does it mean bye? Does he want to leave? I don't know. Here's the thing. And somebody in here earlier brought this up and said it's a negotiating tool. I don't think TJ Watt needs a negotiating tool because he's under contract this year. So he can't go anywhere. If he's going to play football this year, it's going to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there's that. I don't think he needs a negotiating tool because I don't think the Steelers, have any intention on not paying him. So there's that. Or it could mean that he's had conversations with the Steelers already. And he said, hey, man, I'm not going to sign an extension with you. I'm ready to move on. And you guys need to trade me. And instead of that going public, he just posts that. It could mean that too. TJ Watt's had enough. I want to win some playoff games. I don't see you guys doing that anytime soon. I want out of here. I'll play the last year of my contract if you want me to. I'll be more than happy to do that, but I am not signing an extension. So there's that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's those things out there that you have to think about. Now, it's you could say, hey, man, you've been with the Steelers, your entire career. They're going to offer you a crazy amount of money. I would guess, let's just say it's $100 million guaranteed. Let's just throw that out there. Okay. He doesn't want that. Or maybe he's thinking, hey, you trade me, I'll get that from the next team. I'll 100% get that from the next team. But I'm not going to continue to play in Pittsburgh because I see the way the organization is going and I just don't want to play here anymore. So my man Luke Cage says, Big B, I could see the Steelers trading back in the first round to get a second. Absolutely. I could see it too. Also, that was TJ saying, what's up to the people? You think that's what it was? I don't know. A lot of people don't believe that, man. A lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people are thinking that TJ's out of here. So, Arch Baby Doll, in my opinion, I feel TJ will always wear the black and gold. Here's my thing. And it's twofold. And you might say, well, Big B, you're taking the easy way out. Well, I'm really not. It's just two trains of thought. The first train of thought is kind of what Mason said earlier. Trade TJ Watt. You'll get a bundle for him. He threw in Mika, trade him somewhere else, and you start completely over. Okay. I mean, that train of thought is not a bad way to think. Trading TJ Watt, even if you trade Mika too, and just taking the draft picks and starting over. That is not a horrible way of thinking. I get it too. I get the Steelers, because especially since most of us don't believe that the Steelers are one player away from winning the Super Bowl, the best thing that Steelers need are players. That's why people keep saying trade back. Because if you trade back, you're going to get more picks. That's the only reason people are saying trade back. Because the Steelers need access to better football players and more football players. So you trade back to do that. Well, what if you trade a player, especially of his kind? So that's the whole thing. Big Pun hates Minka Fitzpatrick. Now, he's off in his assessment that Minka can't play anymore, but he's right in his assessment talking about getting rid of the money. But that's the whole thing. Nobody's going to trade for Minka Fitzpatrick's salary. Like, nobody's going to do that. Like, nobody's trading to pay him $18 million unless they got a role that he's going to play a lot more than what he did last year and do a lot of different things. So I get it. But I don't think the Steelers are in the business of trading TJ Watt unless it's a flip of philosophy altogether. Because what are the Steelers known for? They're known for keeping their superstars way too long. We've seen it over and over and over again. Keeping the superstars way too long when we could have gotten rid of them either by trade or just cutting them. Steelers don't do that, especially a guy that's going to be in the Hall of Fame. TJ Watt's going to the Hall of Fame. And it's not like he's 34 or 35 years old. He's 30. So I think he turns 31 in October. So it's not like TJ Watt is a million years old. And everybody thinks that 30, once you hit 30, you can't play anymore. That's not true. That's just a misconception that the media has made into reality. That is not the case. Maybe for a running back, okay. But for everybody else, for instance, 30 years old, you're still in your athletic prime. So you got several years to play in your athletic prime. Now, football's different. It's not the same as basketball because of the wear and tear on your body. So I totally understand. But you're not old at 30. That's just a misconception. Maybe it's certain players, certain positions, okay. But I don't know. I don't see the Steelers trading TJ Watt. I don't see it. Because, again, that would be a total shift in philosophy, which I'm not putting it past that. We've seen Omar Khan do some things that we never thought that he would do. DJ Metcalf's perfect example. Who the hell would have thought that the Steelers would trade a second-round pick to go get DK Metcalf and then give him a $30 million a year deal? I don't think anybody saw that coming, but they did it. So, Joseph, now you bring up a good point. The Steelers are 1-10 without TJ. You're right. They are. But TJ played all those games down the stretch last year too. But he was compromised. I give him that. But y'all know my philosophy. Being injured, hurt, whatever you want to call it, that's no excuse for bad play. No excuse. If you can't get the job done, then don't be out there. That's my whole thing. Hey, man, you're hurt. You can go ahead and play bad. It's no big deal. We'll pick up the slack. No. There's no written rule book of anywhere that says that because you're injured, you get to play bad. Doesn't mean that. So, and you can say we're awful without TJ, and you would be 100% right. But we were pretty awful down the stretch with TJ. So what do you want to do? I mean, that's all I'm saying. What do you want to do? I've just come to I'm not even considering the Steelers trading him. Like that's not even in my wheelhouse of things that I believe that's going to happen. Y'all know how I am. I deal in reality. And I don't think it's a reality that the Steelers are going to trade TJ Watt. I just don't believe that. Now, they might do it and surprise the hell out of me. Okay. But until I see that happen, I don't even believe that it's a possibility. I don't even believe that it's a real possibility, man. I just think that the Steelers are what they are. They're going to keep them, and we're going to move on from there. So, but you're right. You guys are right. The Steelers have been awful without him. They've been awful. But maybe the Steelers are like, look, we saw what happened with him in the game last year, and it didn't look good. Arch Baby Doll says it best. TJ is a lifer. I believe so too. I believe so too. My only thing about giving TJ Watt an extension, it can only be 3 years. Like, we can't give TJ Watt a 5-year extension because at 35, with his injury history, now we're just giving away money at that point. 3 years, that's all he gets. And then we're done. We'll see where we're at that time. We'll see where we're at that time. So, and they're going to I get what you're saying, Big Pun. Big Pun says, I wouldn't look to trade TJ, but I wouldn't give him Myles Garrett money either. They're going to have to do that. I mean, if he stays, you're going to have to give him that. So I get your point. I get your premise. I'm with you. But sometimes there's things, for instance, if this is like a quarterback situation, like Dak Prescott got $60 million from the Cowboys. Well, they didn't have to do that because Dak Prescott hadn't proved that he was a $60 million a year guy. TJ Watt has proved that he is a Myles Garrett type of money guy. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, he's proven that already. There's certain positions and certain players that get like Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we can get, the list goes on and on. Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, however the hell you say his name, Tua. Daniel Jones. I mean, the list goes on and on with guys that got contracts that absolutely had not proven it. Absolutely hadn't proven it. TJ Watt has. He has. I know you don't like it, and I'm not sure, Big Pun, that I totally disagree with you. I just know they're going to have to do that. Again, you know how I am. I just live in reality. So, but I'm with you, brother. So, Arch Baby Doll says, good point, B. Seems like TJ's always getting hurt anymore. And he does. He does. And TJ Watt also has to understand he's got to move around on the offensive or on the defensive line. He can't just stay on the left side of the line and that's it. He's got to be willing to move around. Why Myles Garrett is so good is because you don't know where he's going to line up play after play after play. Some of that is TJ. I know a lot of us believe that it's scheme, and it is, but a lot of that is TJ Watt not wanting to move around. So, Jordan, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. He says, I would trade TJ for a first and a second. I don't know if you get a first and a second, but I think you get a first and a third. I think you definitely could do that. So, I don't know if you get a first and a second, but I think you get a first and a third. And then you could take that third, package that with a 6 or something, and move up to get a second. So I don't know. It's two philosophies. You keep him because he's a lifer, and he's TJ Watt, and he's really good. Or you don't, you trade him. But if you trade him, you have to be willing to admit and willing to accept that the Steelers aren't going to be that good on defense until they can replace guys. You have to be willing to accept that. If you are, okay then. If you're not, then you can't be asking for both. You can't say, well, trade them and still be good. Well, what defense gets better when you get rid of one of the best defensive players in the National Football League? I'm sure it's happened before, but how often? For instance, look at the Rams. Aaron Donald retired. Was their defense better or worse? I'll just throw that out to you. You know, it's tough to replace those guys, man. It's just tough. It's tough. Got to have a good front office. So, got to have a good front office. Arch Baby Doll, Garrett sneaks out of the dark like a nightmare. Yeah. Myles Garrett, I do not like playing against Myles Garrett, especially with our tackles last year. I did not like playing against him. I don't like playing against him any year. So, Herbig, Jordan says Herbig can be an impact player for us. He can, but Herbig has to learn how to play the run. Herbig's not good against the run right now. He got a little bit better this past season, but that was because he was awful his first year. And I would say he wasn't awful this year. He was just terrible. You got to play the run better. Got to play the run better. Super chat by our man Dylan. Do you think it's harder to get sacks in the modern day NFL than it was back in the Reggie White days, considering there's a lot more mobile quarterbacks? I do. And the rules. Hell, like you used to be able to just tackle a quarterback. Hell, if I beat my guy, I could run at a quarterback. If he had the ball, I could go hit him in the solar plexus or hit him wherever and drive him into the ground. Just a tackle, a form tackle where you land on the guy. Now you can't even do that. Like if I make a form tackle on a quarterback that's sitting there, I have to somehow, if I run, I hit him in the solar plexus. Then I have to put my hands out and not put my weight, lean to the side, risk injury to myself just because I'm tackling this guy. So it is absolutely harder now. Absolutely harder now. And I don't think yeah, because of the mobile quarterbacks, but I think it's more the rules than anything. I think it's more the rules. That's a great question, though. Appreciate you, Dylan. Thanks for supporting the channel. So yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? That effing guy says it's not even the pass rush. His run stopping is so elite. I'm scared to see him leave. Oh, you're talking about TJ Watt? I mean, TJ is an elite pass rusher, but he's also elite against the run. He is elite against the run. That goes unnoticed, I think, a lot of times by people, maybe outside of Steeler fans, is that he is elite against the run. You know, Herbig is not that. Herbig is not that. That would be a problem if we're trying to replace people. So, Clark's baby doll says roughing the passer on every play. It seems like it, doesn't it? Seems like every play you hit the quarterback, you immediately. How many times do we see a guy hit a quarterback, sack a quarterback, and immediately turn around to the ref to see if they're throwing a flag? You know, we saw, I mean, the most egregious pass or roughing the passer call I think I've seen in my life. What was it, 3 years ago when Tom Brady, the guy went to tackle Tom Brady and he just spun around on the ground, threw him down, didn't land on him, wasn't late. He just, hey, I made contact, I fall to the ground, I spin around and throw him to the ground. Just like how they teach you how to tackle when you're moving and hitting a moving target, roughing the passer. The most unbelievable. I'm like, so you don't even want a quarterback to be tackled anymore. Crazy. So put a flag on the QB instead of letting them get hit. I mean, that's what it's coming to. That's what it's coming to. Is that now you just have to touch the quarterback. Hey, just two-hand touch him, and he's down. It's getting bad. It is so bad for defenders right now in the National Football League with all the rules and everything that gets in the way. It's nuts. It's nuts. So, Torsha said mobile QBs typically take more sacks too. Absolutely. Great point. Mobile quarterbacks absolutely take more sacks. Number one, because they think they can get away from everybody. That's number one. And so they keep plays alive longer. They do. Is that, hey, I can get away, and you can't. Oh, I'm going to keep this play alive. I should throw it away, but I won't. I'll keep it alive, and then you get sacked. You know, they take more sacks because they think they can get away from everybody. Well, they cannot get away from everybody. So they just don't. And you're right, running quarterbacks usually don't get the benefit of the whistle either. You know, we've seen Cam Newton, as Big Pun says, Lamar, Josh Allen. We've seen these running quarterbacks not get the benefit of a whistle, you know, that others do. Patrick Mahomes. People don't like LeBron James because LeBron James flops, Patrick Mahomes does the exact same thing. Not only does he flop, at least LeBron flops, he's not begging the ref to make a call. He just flops around like a fish. Okay, ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes flops, and then he's begging the ref for a call immediately. I'm like, come on, man. You're the best quarterback in the game. Do you really need to do this? It's like I'm a LeBron guy. I think LeBron is outstanding because I understand. I like good basketball. But LeBron flopping around, I'm like, LeBron, you're one of the best players in the history of basketball. You're 6'9", 250 pounds. You don't have to flop around like that, man. I get it. You're trying to get calls that the rest won't normally call because you're so big, but you don't have to do that. Patrick Mahomes is the same way. So, the same way. Mm-mm-mm. Appreciate it, Ali. Thank you, man. Stay safe. Thanks for joining in. For Ali. Not Ali. Ali. We appreciate you. Always coming in, showing support. We're going to shut this one down for today, people. I appreciate you. Make sure everybody tunes in tomorrow. Tomorrow for our podcast, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Make sure everybody shows up. Appreciate you. Remember, memberships are available. If you have not shown up or signed up to become a member, you're going to want to do that, especially during the season, man. During the season, we're going to be doing live games. We're going to be doing live streaming during the games. We're watching football games with Big B. That is one of the benefits. All 22 of the entire game, me breaking down the game for you guys is also going to be a benefit. So appreciate everybody being in here. Again, thank you for showing up and showing out. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You have a good one.